is a Range Rover Sport, but it's not any Range Rover Sport. It looks like a V8, sounds a little bit like a V8, and kind of drives like a V8 too. There aren't any badges on it to tell anybody that you didn't go for the V8. Under that sleek clamshell hood sits an inline six-cylinder, and it's a diesel. So let's take a look inside the Range Rover Sport, and because it's a Range Rover, expectations are unsurprisingly high. So let's start with these seats. In front, they are heated and cooled, and so are the back seats heated and cooled, but the front seats have a massage function. Now, I know we've spoken about this before, but every single time a new massage function comes out, it's usually better than the old one. This one is no different. One of the best we felt recently with multiple modes. It kind of does feel like there's a person inside there giving you a back rub. Next up are these headrests. Adjustable, might I add, and with a little gap in the middle for my head to snugly fit into. I haven't really experienced this before, but I'm liking it. Now, you always hear that it's got 32-way adjustable seats and all this gimmicky nonsense, but this one seats, the bottom can actually move independently from the back over here. So that means that my tush can get right into the corner of the seat, which means I get a lot more support. Now, all these hand gestures might not mean much to you, but when you sat in this car, it feels supportive, comfortable, and special. Of course, all the touches are soft with velour and very lovely leather on the inside. One of my favorite features, though, has got to be this fridge over here. 2 settings, space for about 4 of these guys, and it really keeps the waters and cool drinks ice cold. Although very comfortable at the back here, I was expecting a little bit more legroom. Plenty headroom, and of course, you've also got a panoramic sunroof that reaches all the way to the back. There's also a 60-watt charger inside this handy little compartment over here, plus the connectors for these screens. Incidentally, this option here will cost you 47,000 Rand. But the kids are going to thank you for it, though. Of course, it's got all the 4-wheel drive modes, height adjustable suspension that can take your wading depths to crazy levels, and then it's also got diff lock. So it really is quite a hardcore off-roader if need be, but I won't be doing any of that today. Driving a Range Rover through the countryside, just as it was originally intended to do. But this one, of course, is the Sport model, and most people associate the Sport model with a raging V8, but it doesn't have to be that. In fact, this one over here is the 3-liter, 350 horsepower diesel version, and I do think they've plumbed in some audio to make it sound a bit like a V8, because even after driving it, I wasn't quite sure. Even with 23-inch wheels, it's still very comfortable and supple. Surprisingly so, because in most cases, 23 inches is just too big. Kickdown is sufficiently fast, and I feel like there's enough torque to hustle this car around. And because of the diesel, of course, there's over enough power as well, but you're kind of leaning on that torque more, aren't you? The other benefit with diesel is, of course, fuel consumption. Now, this car's claimed at around 7 liters per 100, but I don't think that's going to happen very often. In fact, I'm getting about 11 at the moment, and I'm currently trying to pull that number down. And a friend of mine who has just taken delivery of his 2024 model also gets about 11 liters per 100. Now, hopefully, the engine on both of these cars will loosen up and the consumption figures will come down, but I'm a little bit concerned about that. Inside here, all the parts that you touch and feel really expensive. But of course, you gotta pay to play. The car starts off at 2.2 million, but as it's spec now, it's an extra 200,000 on top of that for all these little extra features. There's a reason they call this the Chelsea tractor. And thankfully in South Africa, diesels aren't quite as vilified as they are in the rest of the world. You don't need a big petrol V8 with stupendous fuel consumption to get the full Range Rover Sport experience. But what you do need to do is make sure that you spend some money on those options.